Yeah, I can't hear you, buddy. Now I'm finna go on my phone on YouTube to make sure, um, to see what's going on. View channel. This don't show that I'm live though. I don't see it on my phone. Mm-mm. You said can you see what I sent in the chat? Let me see. Private chat. I tested the audio. It's saying it works. I don't know what's going on. Maybe you need to add me onto the stage. Um, I don't know how to add on to the stage. Add to the
Oh,
stage.
there we go. Can you hear
Okay.
me now?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, cool.
The only other thing is they talking about upgraded if you wanted to record, but this should be on my YouTube. I record YouTube every day.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm,
but when I go on YouTube right now, I don't see. Let me go from another page
yeah, I'm checking right now too.
to see if you see the Juicy Expressions live.
Yeah. I was just on my TikTok telling people to tune in.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see it. I was thinking you can do live right from YouTube. I didn't know you had to
Yeah,
download.
it does say live. It says live for me.
Okay, well let's go. Welcome
We live. We in. We in there.
in here. Welcome to the Juicy Book Club.
We live. We in. We. Okay.
Okay, that's what's up. This is my first time
Hmm.
on this platform. Okay, welcome.
Nice. I like it.
Me too. Welcome to the Juicy Book Club. I apologize to y'all. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? Because I started the book club this year. Well, I've been doing the book club for a couple of years or whatever, and I always did it on Instagram.
Hmm.
It was so many issues with Instagram, just so many technical things on my phone, the sound and all of that. And I can't tell you no more about it. I don't know if you did it on purpose, but anyway, Spirit was like,
Yes, I did. I'll be right back.
okay, you good. Spirit was like, girl, that's because you supposed to be working on the platform, which is YouTube. So I'm just happy to be here. So
Exactly.
I apologize for tripping like that, and we'll let her come back on. But so listen, y'all. I'll put the other videos that we have done or that I've done with the book club on YouTube. I will get to that. But we are reviewing Go Higher by Big Sean. 5 practices for purpose, success, and inner peace. So
Yes.
that's what we got going on. When you come back on here, look, let the people know who you are, where they can follow.
Okay.
Look, all of that good stuff.
Okay. I was looking for my actual hard copy of the book, which I just
Oh,
found
okay.
it.
Look,
So let me
look.
sit down.
Take your time. Take your time. Y'all, it's June 1st. You know what I'm saying? So happy June 1st. We at the 6 month mark, and
Hmm.
I'm really feeling like another deeper reset. You know, my spirit also said like, listen, because I was on the post no scroll thing, and I did that good for a while, and then I kind of got back into old ways. But now I'm like, listen, I really need to. It's time for me to take the time to reflect. I have the time to do it. Do it. So
Hmm.
what I want to do is instead of watching other people on YouTube, I need to rewatch myself of what I've done, reflect, and then get, like I said, sit down and edit. So I'm just gonna deepen the focus, and it's a good, good time. We at the 6 month, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We had our fun. Look what was in my book.
Hey, yes.
We had our fun. Now it's time to refocus.
Yeah, I still have to recap that because I literally got thrown into the week. So, yeah, I'm gonna recap. I still need to recap and post my pics and do that. But that's what I'm saying. I don't need to be post no scroll. I need to be posting, not doing that. So yeah.
Definitely.
So tell everybody who you are. Tell everybody all your platforms, and just tell us how you feeling. Period.
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Shonda, Sean like duh. You can find me on not on YouTube yet, but you can find me on Instagram as Sean like duh, as it's displayed there, and as well as TikTok, Sean like duh. I mean, I just talk about life, motivation, and exploration. It's about living life as abundantly as we can, and as much as we want to. I just did a post about how sometimes we limit ourselves. I was talking to a friend who I hadn't seen in a while, and I had just tapped into a new passion of mine, which I had a desire for a long time ago, which was to get into film. And I got my first producer credit this past week. I produced a short film. Yeah.
We just caught up not too long ago, and now you have a new. Because I'm like, this something new. Okay.
Right. It is new. Right. And you get so busy and caught up. It's like you don't even think about sometimes, like, dang, this was like a dream and a passion I had a long time ago. And now I finally had an opportunity to like tap into it. And, I was talking to an old friend from college, and I started to say, like, yeah, I've been limited. But instead, I'm like, no, I got to take accountability. Like, I limited myself. Like, I've been limiting myself in terms of me not pursuing that for so many years. So now, I'm at the point with that, with everything else, other events and experiences that I want to share, and just as a way to show other people that, yeah, you can pursue the things that you're passionate about. So that's what my platform's about, y'all. And I'm happy to be here supporting my friend from a long time ago and still today. And we doing this thing.
Yes, I seen that you posted a post like so I didn't get to, like I said, I've been thrown into the week, so it's like real quick, and then look, somebody doing something. But you said summertime shy, you ready? Like, come explore the city with me. I just love it. Yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah.
The only thing I gotta say, Body, is, do you think that this is gonna save? Because I'm gonna be mad if it don't. This is so good.
I hope so, because I was looking at it, like I actually clicked onto the live from YouTube. So
okay, still, but I just hate that it's not showing me, and I'm like the administrator, because I really, I wanted to say that's the only thing. Should I end it and try and see if this is gonna
look, this is what I see on YouTube right now.
Okay. Okay, so let's just trust it. Whatever. Either way, whatever it's meant. Let's just get to it.
Right.
So, I do housekeeping. The next book club meeting will be the last one. I did not want to do it off to July because the chapters are getting shorter. They may get bigger, I think, at the end, but these little chapters are short. So it's like, let's just do it all in the next segment. That will be the last one instead of doing July.
Okay. So we left off at, was it?
We're doing chapters 10 through 14 today.
Okay.
And we're gonna answer like the reflection questions and all of that.
Yep.
And then at any time, you can stop me, say anything, and I'm gonna read some passages. You can read something that's that stood out to you. So I'm gonna start. So this is like we said, go higher. It is just so deep because and let me go back to the 5 principles for those who, are just joining. Y'all don't know, y'all haven't seen the other book clubs. The 5 practices that he shares are accept, strategize, try, trust, and manifest. So this is chapter 10. It's talking about therapy. On page 96, a little bit after the first paragraph, it says, let me see. Another benefit of working on yourself is that it rubs off on other people around you, your family members and your friends. They start to think, well, maybe at least it wouldn't hurt to try to take care of myself too. Let me try it. I like that because this is embodiment for my children. Like me getting into it, I don't even have to, like the old ways is kind of like working from the outside. From the outside, looking at like everybody else, like external or, wanting a certain outcome for them. But it's like, no, you have to do the work for you, and that stuff will rub out for you. When you are the example, it's going to rub out to other people. So
yes.
I love that.
Yes. I feel the same way, and especially as it relates to my kids. 2 quick examples. One, I've been listening to this book in the car, like on the way to school, and we have kind of a long drive. And so,
audio too?
So yeah, I got the audio. It's on Spotify.
You said it's on Spotify?
It's free on Spotify. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been listening to it with Joshua in the car on the way to school. And so, I feel like, he needs to hear this too. You know what I'm saying? Like just at least like him hearing me or seeing me try to listen to something to, work on myself. He's also sitting there, so I can also see if he's listening or encourage him to listen. And then we've been talking a little bit about, some of the chapters or things that stand out that I feel like can apply to him. So we'll get to that probably in, I think, chapter 12. But so that's one thing. And the other thing, we've also been doing affirmations in the mirror, like at night.
Okay.
And so one of the things that I had to switch a little bit, it was really just like a mindset shift for me. Is it's one thing for me to tell them, like, you are intelligent, you are courageous, but I also had to remember, like, I have to say it for me, and they have to see me saying it for me.
Yeah.
Because like, it's one thing to encourage somebody else, and so often, especially as women, we'll encourage other people all day, and then not
medicine. We giving
exactly.
it all.
Right. So I had to say, like, okay, I'm going to say mine, and then they're going to say theirs, but they have to see me doing it, not just doing it for them, but for myself.
Yeah. I love that, body. I love everything that you said. I'm going to, Amari's on his, vacation or whatever, but when he gets back, instead of giving him, because I was going to, let him read the book. But I love that y'all doing that together, listening to it and doing that. I love that.
Yeah.
And getting back to, affirmations. I do it with the small boys. But we used to do it as a family, like part of our activity. So it's definitely something that I can get back to. So I love that. The other passage is still on 96 at the bottom of the page, turn that paragraph off. I know that I still have a long way to go when it comes to my growth. Growth is a cyclical thing. The objective isn't to become perfect. It's to keep working on yourself continuously. You go through all these steps, and once you get to the last step, it's not like life is all figured out. You have to go back around, but you're going to do it from a different perspective. You will become someone who's seen the miracle of working on yourself and the solutions and happiness that it brings, the productivity and sense of accomplishment that you feel. That's the energy. I had to do that because there's nothing. It's like we don't do stuff just to, okay, so back in the day, I can be honest, back in the day, maybe like college mindset or whatever, it's like, ooh, let me work out, I'm going on this vacation. And then it'd be, you know what I'm saying? But now it's like once you mature and you really like deep into the work, you know that this is not a thing that you're accomplishment. This is a lifestyle. to live a lifestyle of wellness, it's an everyday thing. You have to show up every day. It's not like, oh, got that done. Look,
Yeah.
can't be, let me not be mindful no more. I was just mindful to get to try to manifest this, and it's like that's not
Right.
what it is. It's a continuous everyday step, putting your and trying. So I love that he said that.
Yeah. It's not just about checking off a box or feeling like you've ever arrived. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about therapy? Because this is what the chapter is about.
Mm-hmm. I think therapy. I think everybody should consider therapy at least at some point.
I
Like,
want to do therapy. I've never done it, but I know that I would
mhm.
love it and enjoy it.
Yeah, I think I've done it now 3 times.
Okay.
And sometimes, you go through a traumatic incident and you might just want to process that one incident.
Right.
Like, so that was the first time I went. The second time was marital counseling when I was married. And so we were trying to work through things. Unfortunately, my husband at the time, he did not want to continue. So I stopped. But then after, as we were actually transitioning, separated and transitioning to divorce, I ended up getting back into therapy for
Okay.
my just for myself. And
Like it helps.
um, mhm. And so I kind of worked through that. And I think that was kind of part of the reason that for me, because a lot of people were like, why? And we talked about this a little bit. It's like, why are you not in this state of like suffering, sadness? And I'm like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. And I'm just like, because like I just realized I had to be present with, through that process with therapy. Like you just have to be present with what's happening in the now, and you can't get stuck. Like just like the Power of Now says, you can't get stuck in these psychological loops of the past. Like I can only move forward at this place. Like I made the decision.
And
It
you did
was
the
a
work.
decision.
That's why. That's
Right.
that's the answer right there. You did the work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You was able to work through it, and you was able to drop that weight, the burden that doesn't serve you, and that's
Hmm.
amazing. That's
Exactly.
amazing.
What purpose does sadness serve me in this moment? It doesn't anymore. It might have for a time.
Right.
I'm gonna acknowledge any sadness that I had because yeah, it's sad it's sad that it didn't work out, but that's it. Like I'm not going what else can I do by just sitting in that? Like
Nah, that's some real talk, and thank you for sharing that. I've never done therapy. I want to go to therapy myself. I want to send my son to therapy. Whoever's
mhm.
willing around this, can benefit of just doing the work and going higher. And I love so in this chapter it talked about how talking to friends or talking to family,
Mhm.
you can dump that on them, but they still carrying it. You don't know who. You know what I'm saying? That may not be ideal. So for me, I definitely
Yeah.
would definitely benefit from just being able to express myself and going higher and to uh leave pressure. The first quote
Yes.
in the chapter says, look, show the people they want to look get the book. Pressure
Mhm.
is something I've grown to have a great relationship with. It pushes me to limits I couldn't get to by staying comfortable.
Yep.
So when traumatic things happen, all of that shit is happening for us. We think it's
Mhm.
happening to us in the moment when we could be in a victim mode or a psychological loop, like you said, but it's really happening for us so that we can get to the next step.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that quote a lot. Yeah, pressure is something I've grown to have a great relationship with. That's a deep thing to say because we're gonna encounter pressure throughout our life. It's not, I don't think we're ever in a space where we're just like pretending like nothing, no obstacles or no, situations never happen. It's just like us, it's all good all the time. It's like, no, you have to develop a relationship with understanding what the purpose of pressure is. And I really like that quote.
Yeah, and the better we get with it, embodying that, the people watching us and our children and all of that, they'll be able to know how to deal with stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it starts with us.
Yeah.
On page 99, the last paragraph, he says, "You can go without a reason too. Curiosity is a reason enough to try it out and see how it works for you. I encourage everyone to try therapy." And he highlighted try because, again, that's one of the practices.
Yeah.
Try therapy. It's safe to say that pretty much everyone would benefit from it. Therapy is a time to say your thoughts out loud, to self-actualize, to sit with yourself. We're living
Yes.
in a world where we're online constantly, engaging with phones and computers that are throwing ideas and points of comparison at us. It's very easy to lose ourselves because there's so much clutter. I think therapy is something that helps me, or that helps you get a grip on yourself, to into you and not to everyone else going on about or what the world is going through. Exactly, exactly. And this is exactly what I'm on too. Shalaya text me for the link. I don't even. I could have shared it on Instagram. I'm like, I'm just doing the best I can at this point. I'm just happy to be here. Period. Period.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna share it on my stuff too right now. Now that you said that.
If you got the link, I can reshare your story then if you do it. But I see one person on there, maybe her. Let's see. Okay, so you already asked the question. If you're done therapy, what you learned from it? If you've never done it, what's your hesitation? If you think about doing it, what would you want to talk about? I would want to talk about just look at the beginning. No, I just want to. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know what. I think I would just talk about a range of things. A lot of shit, whatever. Let's unpack it all. Maybe she'll guide whatever, whoever the person will guide me. I definitely. So, were you when you picked your therapist, or did you go with somebody you already went before, or how did that? Okay.
The first time I went, it was a referral from somebody. And it just kind of worked out. And then the second time, we just found somebody. The second time I found somebody online, and then the third time, it was another recommendation from somebody who was also a therapist. But
Okay.
I didn't want. She couldn't take me on, but she referred me to somebody else.
Okay. Do you feel like color matters? Cause I personally I feel like that for me. That's just what I feel like. I wouldn't be opposed to doing a male, but I would actually want a woman too. And I would want a Black woman therapist.
Yeah. The first time, I want to say she was Latino, which was fine. I mean, I think since for the first time for me, it was really more situational. Like it was a specific event. You know what I'm saying? I think it was fine. The second one, I specifically wanted a black person who was older and who had been married. So we found a older black woman who had been married for 30 plus years, and then actually the last one, the lady who recommended me, she recommended me to somebody, but she was about to go on maternity leave, so she then pushed me to somebody else on her team. And at first, I was kind of like, dang, she seemed like she got like 10 years of experience. She looked like she kind of like close to my age. I don't know about that. Like I need somebody like a little bit
like older, like
seasoned. Yeah. But it actually worked out really well, and it kind of felt like almost like a big sis, you know what I'm saying, which was good. But she never crossed it. It was comfortable, but she never crossed no boundaries as far as like it being a friend versus like she was still professional,
right?
But it felt comfortable. Like, okay, yeah, you can relate. You understand the context of some of the things I'm saying too, as far as you speak my language. Because sometimes with older people, sometimes you got to explain to them a little bit.
Right. Right.
So So yeah, it's important to me too.
Look, Shirley is low. Look, it says Chambers, but low is in the chat. She said, yes, color matter in my opinion, especially
Mm-hmm.
from a public health standpoint. Yeah, it's just related. Especially, I mean, how deep are we unpacking? We don't know if we're going deep ancestral. You know what I'm saying? So I need some. You
That's
know,
true.
I definitely believe in. It's just I would get a black therapist. So I'm gonna put that on my vision board. I wanna I would love to be in therapy this year. I would love it.
Yes.
You know, I should have been did it, but it's okay. You know, shoulda, whatever. We here now. I would love to be in therapy. Okay, so we are on chapter 11, which is journaling. I'm gonna read a quote on page 105.
Okay.
It starts with the second paragraph. When I was going through a challenging time, my mom reached out to Marie Diamond, with whom she was taking an online feng shui class, and said, "My son could use your expertise and help getting aligned." She replied and said, "My son has shine on his vision board. I think it's a sign." Marie came to meet with me at my house in LA, and it felt like seeing a long lost friend or someone from the past. There was a familiarity, even though we don't have that much in common. We immediately hit it off as pals. She helped me out a lot over the years. I always thought feng shui was about arranging and decorating your house or office, but it's really about the arrangement of your whole life. Of course, fixing my environment is important, but I also needed to take a look at the organization of everything around me. She taught me how important it is to face certain directions for certain activities. She even has an app now that she's named after herself. You can personalize a profile that includes a compass and shows you what directions are best for you, for your health, success, and wisdom, all by using the date and time of your birth. I was skeptical at first. I don't know why I'm stuttering. Until I actually applied it and saw a difference firsthand. I find that looking at it helps me think about what will give me a higher chance of being a better version of myself. This is deep because I thought about you at my wedding, folding up my baby clothes using the Marie Kondo method. even though this is Marie Diamond, they both do feng shui, and it's interesting because I've been read this chapter, but I reread it to get ready for this, and I saw her on my feed. She's on Michael Beckwith's podcast, so I haven't watched it yet, but it's dope. And I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on feng shui? How did you even get on Marie Kondo? I need to get back on it, but I love learning that stuff, and that stuff is life changing.
Yeah, I think I just got on it through her Netflix show.
Okay, yeah, me too.
Yeah, so that I just it just popped up on my thing at one point in time, and I checked it out, and I think it was like, I wanted to get organized, especially after having my kids and keeping the house in order and stuff. But I didn't really know, like, this was a good reminder from this book. And at first I was thinking, I'm like, Marie Diamond. I was like, I thought her name was Kondo, but I guess it's two different people. But yeah, I didn't even remember with the Marie Kondo stuff about feng shui specifically. So this was a good reminder of like broadening a more broad perspective on it again, because I forgot, like, yeah, part of it is like having the house in order, having stuff in order, but then also like the directional stuff. Like I didn't even really either remember that or think about that. So that was kind of a good reminder about like being in tune, like when you are facing a certain direction or trying to orient in a certain way, like for me to just be mindful, a lot more mindful about, how I'm feeling when I'm sitting in the house in this position versus that, or just whenever, it's just like more aware of your body and your orientation. So that was good.
Yeah. I'm gonna download the app. I followed her today. I'm gonna download the app and see what it's talking about. So on page 106, on the second paragraph, it says, I used to journal in whatever journals I had around, but Marie suggested that for feng shui purposes, I work with colors. I have a book that's talking about colors. Colors is deep. That's all I wanted to mention that. This is some deep shit. Period. He said, I've always heard the saying that the pen is mightier than the sword. She said, you should have a gold pen so that it's like a sword to you. That sounded right, and I started using gold pens. I do things that work for me, whether or not they sound silly to other people. And I wrote in my book, yoga mat in the kitchen. Y'all, I literally put a yoga mat in my kitchen. That is how I cook. If I'm ever in the kitchen if I'm not just pouring me some water or doing something like that, if I have to do some work in the kitchen, I put a yoga mat. And I remember, like, my husband ain't never say nothing, but even my kid, everybody's like, but now it's like normal. So it's like we have to do stuff that's comfortable for us. It don't matter about whatever. You know, it's deep that he learned this.
Yeah, that's dope. I like that idea with the yoga mat in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So like in between, so what does that look like for you? Or like so in between you making something, or like you just stop and pause, or like what does that look like?
It feels good on my feet. But yeah, I do stop and pause because if I'm in a kitchen, so like I said, I told you on the trip, like I had anxiety in the kitchen. I can honestly say that, like I'm myself of kind of like getting in the flow of, like, you know, working, homeschooling, mastering, you know, cooking and stuff like that. So the mat too allows the baby to sit down and to kind of do stuff, you know. So I just kind of like move while I'm doing something, you know, because I'll make a meal, a salad, try to prep for a juice. I'm doing like a lot of stuff at one time, so I need to be comfortable and not be intense because like it's a workshop. You know what I'm saying? You want to feel good. You nurturing the energy that you put into your food is gonna heal the people. So it's like I have to be comfortable, and that reminded me of that.
I love that.
Okay, at the bottom of the page, I'm gonna finish it out. It says, journaling has allowed me to understand myself better. It shows me my repeated behavioral patterns and lets me take a look outside of myself and think about why I do the things I do over and over again. A great way to get intrusive thoughts out of my head and cut them off from their power. I encourage you to try all forms of journaling that appeal until you find what works best.
You still there? Technical difficulties.
Okay, I'm FaceTiming. I'm like, what the? They didn't say nothing. Okay, so we back on up?
Huh? Okay.
Okay. That's wild. I'm like, oh snap! I'm in the middle of this shit. What's going on? I guess the battery was low, y'all. And then my computer. This is an old laptop. So whatever.
It didn't tell you. You said it.
It didn't say nothing. No notification. There's no right or wrong way to journal. The cosmic realm works for you, within you. When you feel bad, know it's because you're not in alignment with who you truly are, or are not living up to your potential, and know you can do better. There's a silver lining to it. That's where you see the possibility. I found it helpful to write my way through these moments of discomfort. Let me tell you something. Writing can save your life. Period.
Period.
If I'm ever in a situation, I mean, I don't want to say nothing, whatever, but if you can always get you a fucking blank piece of paper and a pen and write your way out this shit. It's just like thinking about it, thinking about it in a if we was like in a cartoon or something. You know what I'm saying? Like something's happening, bitch. Look, I am now safe in my da 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 da. Like I love writing. What are your thoughts about journaling? And I
Yes.
you had your journal on the right. I had mine too. I had me a small one. I was packing light for the trip.
Right.
Journal your stuff. Talk about your journal experience.
For sure. I mean, I started journaling when I was 12, and for me that was my therapy at a time where, our their generation people, they didn't believe in therapy, none of that type of stuff. So, I did the best I can by just I'm gonna just write my thoughts out, and maybe one day I'll get to read them to somebody who could help me figure this shit out. Like that's how I felt. So I just was writing down everything, like how I felt, what was going on, like key things. You in there too, like, from back in the day, places we've been and stuff like that, which is funny because I just found my old journals and I was reading one the other day, and it's so true what he was saying about, being able to look and see your repeated behavioral patterns,
Mm-hmm.
because I was looking at something that I had wrote when I was like 15, 16 years old. And I was like, dang, like, because sometimes you become aware of something about who you are or how you are, and you feel like it's new. But then I was reading that from back then. I was like, dang, like, actually, I've been like this.
Right, that awareness. Yeah,
hmm
that's
So
deep.
yeah, being able to have a space. So I don't write like that anymore, as far as like just chronologically writing everything that happened and how I felt about it. I would like to get back to that though. Right now, what I've been writing is, it's been a little bit more scattered. Like I'll write notes that I want to remember, or I'll write little reflections about specific things. But I do want to get back into a habit of like writing about the now, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and then being able to, like he was saying, at some point, he mentioned, oh yeah, just kind of the ending part. He didn't have a question, but he said at the end, like, get a journal and a pen that feels special to you, then take 10 minutes a day to write through thoughts and feelings you're having, or goals and questions you have about your life, and just feel free associate, and write anything that comes into your mind. There's no right or wrong to do this. After 2 weeks, read over what you've written and see what surprises you, and see if the way you're thinking about your life has grown deeper or changed in some way. I thought that was really powerful, and that just made me think like, okay, yeah, I've been like here and there scattered writing stuff as it comes to me, but I do want to put a practice into place. 10 minutes a day is nothing. Like
It's
I can sit down for 10 minutes, like, and just write. So that was something that after I read that chapter, I'm like, I'm going to commit to that, going into the next month, which is now.
yeah. I've been writing in journals, and I had look, diaries, which is like the same shit since
Yep.
been pimping, since been pimping. I always have to. I'm like Harry the Spy, bitch. Look, you cannot take
Right.
my notebook away. Look, it's fucking serious.
Right.
Like, yeah, it just it's important to get thoughts out. Right now the consistency with my writing is gratitude lists.
Mm.
I probably have like maybe a year straight, or maybe a few days missed here and there of the gratitude list. But I do want to get. I have a notebook for spewing where I'm like, creating, manifesting, writing, like my,
Hmm.
creating, visualizing stuff like that. And then I do have a chronological, but I have not. I have, it's like you said. I would like to, make my practice up 10 minutes a day, and we can do.
Yes.
Shalea says, same. I love writing in my journal. I have one for brain dumps and another one to create my reality. Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea that both of y'all said, like having specific journals for specific things, because that's the thing. My one journal I feel like has kind of gotten out of control with just like, all right, it's like a random notes. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, so maybe that's my spew journal, but I need one that's organized as well.
Yeah. Because it's good to because I'm like it's people like us, like a free soul. We need to like do whatever the fuck, like not have, how like the paper has lines on it, like fuck the lines, like just,
Hmm.
have whatever. So yeah, different ones. Um, yeah, these chapters are very short. So now we're on chapter 12, meditating. And the first quote says, "The only way to meditate wrong is to not do it." Let's see. My quote is on 113. Okay. Once I feel the gunk has been cleared, it's on 113, the first paragraph, the second sentence. Once I feel the gunk has been cleared away, which usually takes about a minute or two max, I imagine that a protective barrier forms around me. I imagine this bubble as royal blue because, like I've said, for me, that's the color of power. I tell myself that whatever I'm working on, I have the power to accomplish it. Then I imagine myself surrounded in a bubble of rose, which represents the unconditional love of the whole universe. I give thanks to the universe for supporting me and bringing me to where I am. Finally, I picture anything that's hindering me, whether that's an obstacle or feeling of guilt, being completely disintegrated. I've read that purple is the color of forgiving, so I imagine a violet flame that burns away things that are holding me back or that I need to let go of. This is deep because, and it's funny that Shalaz is on here. I just told her that this is in this recent. I feel like in May, I have been sitting like laying back in my bed, taking deep breaths, like looking out the window, seeing the clouds and stuff like that. But I imagine that I'm in a bubble that gets bigger and bigger as I breathe, and it kind of like bursts anybody else bubble. But I'm not. It's not like that. I know anybody else. It's just that it's just expanding my protective field of just a positivity. Because too, like if I feel like me, I can be in a space where I'm around negativity. It don't matter, like from coming from whatever. So it's like I have to deepen that. So that's what I imagine me being around when I meditate. A bubble of peace, positivity, just all of that energy. I just recently started doing that.
That's good. I can't say that I meditate regularly, so this was definitely. I feel like this actually gave me like more of a like encouragement that it's not that difficult, because I feel like I have done it from here and there, but in terms of it becoming a practice, it always felt kind of overwhelming to me to think about. And I don't know why. I really don't know why.
Still because of accomplishment, like he was saying, like people trying to be Buddha or whatever. For me, I have known what it feel like to have anxiety in my body. I can honestly say that I've known what it felt like to be in a place of unease. So for me, sitting the fuck down to breathe and be still, that's really meditation. Just calming your spirit down. So
right.
You imagining something, and most of the time I'm just doing it to calm down. I'm just laying down, just breathing and kind of being still. And that's pretty much for me all it is. It's not really trying to master something or accomplish something. It does get you in a place of quieting your mind, and you feel better, especially to do it.
Yeah, so that's another one that I need to, kind of go deeper on.
Yeah. At the end of it, he said, "There's no right or wrong way to do any of this. Try this once a day and see what's most useful, what changes, what difference it makes for the rest of your day. Over the next couple of weeks, try it out 10 times for 100 minutes total before you decide whether or not it works for you." So yeah, and then too, like they have like going for a walk is a meditation, and meditation just means I think I forgot. Let me look it up before I because Michael Beck was talking about this all the time. It means awareness to become aware of some shit though. That's basically what it means.
Right. So it's probably been certain things I've done that's been meditation, but I'm not calling it that, Okay. But I do want to be more intentional and mindful about it, and not it be something I'm realizing that happened in hindsight,
Right. Definitely. The real one. I don't know if they had. He looked up the they don't have it. The real, they got different whatever. But basically, it means to become aware. That's it, or to be or whatever. Um, Okay. Chapter 13 is about getting outside. He talked about look, he had an extreme experience. He took some LSD and went hanging over went hiking. I said hanging. Oh, but he's hanging from a chain block from a particular trail. Let me see. I didn't have nothing highlighted in this chapter because it's like 2 pages.
Yeah. I'm just flipping through real quick to see if there was anything that stood out.
The quote on the front that says, "When you go outside, you can see that every living thing, including us, is a part of the same living force, meaning we are all made from that same beautiful energy and are interconnected." Yeah, when you go outside, it's really mindfulness. It's hearing the birds, looking at the trees, color.
Yeah, breathing
I
the
love
fresh
that too.
air.
I like to put my feet in the grass. All of that is grounding. Yeah, I didn't have nothing highlighted in this chapter. It was 2 pages. But I'll read this though. On page 18, it says at the bottom, it says, "If I have heaviness, I acknowledge it. Sometimes I don't recognize why I'm so overwhelmed or why I'm stressed out. But when I take the time to breathe, I can figure it out. Right. When I figure out where the negative feelings are coming from, I say, I return this energy to the earth with light and love attached to it. I envision the earth transforming all that stress and heaviness into oxygen. I feel a difference after I do that."
Yes. Yes, that is good. And it's true because they even say that as far as like the plants, they take in the toxic, what don't plants take in the toxic air or like the carbon monoxide or whatever, and then they release oxygen for us. So it made me think about how that toxicity and the negativity, yeah, that is energy that has to go somewhere. And it's so beautiful to think about how the plants literally transform that energy for us.
Right. And the earth. You can ground that shit back into the earth. And give it back. Shit. He said, "When I walk outside, I ask myself questions. What is it that's stopping me from realizing my full potential? What is it that's stopping me from going higher? What is it that's holding me back when I feel this heaviness? Let it be identified." Yeah, that's deep. I love outside will definitely ground you. Period. The end quote says, "The next time you find yourself feeling upset or confused or heavy, find a way to spend a few minutes out in nature, taking a few deep breaths. Imagine your energy going down in the center of the earth."
Yeah. And breathing, you don't think people say breathing is involuntary, but I mean, I think sometimes it's precautious, but I don't think it's involuntary. And you know what I'm saying? Like you have to be mindfully breathing or aware of your breathing in some way. And I feel like I'm just now realizing that through doing my training for the half marathon, working with this boxing coach. It's like, damn, have I not known how to breathe? Like,
That's real.
you know what I'm saying?
You don't know if you're not doing it intentionally. You're not breathing
Right.
in that way. You know what I'm saying? You got to be taught. I mean, really, you gotta practice, not be taught. You have to practice breathing. That's what it is.
Yes.
Practice breathing, because a lot of the times we have you know low vibrational energy, whether it's stagnant, toxic or whatever's going on, and we don't know what's going on. So I love how he's saying you need to ask a question. That's what I'm saying. Ask it, what is going on with me? How am I feeling? So you have to breathe on purpose. Julia said, "I feel like meditation gets you to a point where you can be the observer of the noise." It's right, instead of being consumed by it. I used to be intimidated by it until I started seeing it that way. Exactly. When I meditate, I'm able to take myself out of it. It's kind of looking at a different view. You looking over it. So yourself, let's say if you got yourself and there's some type of obstacle, problem, which is an opportunity, you're able to see the overview of it. It takes you out of it. It's just spiritual. You out of your head. You out of your
Mm.
head.
No, that's good. That's good. Is this in the chat? Did she put this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I'll have to see if I could see it after. Anyways. Okay.
Okay, this is chapter 14, our last chapter, um, which is called Finding Role Models. I read this over quickly, so I'm gonna have to reread it again, but I can still read what I the little stuff that I highlighted from it, even though this is still 2 pages.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't read this quickly. Because I read this before. Like I said, I had to reread this just to refresh because I already read this stuff. But I'll read on page 124. It says, "You might actually meet the people you follow, though it's not that necessary when it comes to studying them and making them a presence in your life. While it's not the goal, it's true that people who are on the same vibration and wavelength will often manifest in each other's life. They will attract each other like a magnet." And I just recently thought about, I don't know if you've seen Body, because like I said, the week been busy, but this week in my footworking class, um, Taylor was there, Taylor Bennett.
Oh, mm-mm.
Yeah, but when I turned around, cause look, he was just like Chance. Chance is on my interview list of who I want to manifest the interview. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, the wavelength, people just coming together. But I wanted to say that just because I'm still gonna manifest the interview Big Sean shit, even though whatever. Um,
Mm-hmm.
do you have any type of? I think did we talk about this last time about role models? I feel like that was you who I was talking to.
It might have been because I feel like I remember saying I really didn't have.
Yeah, I remember saying you remember you saying something like that too.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh, and now I gotta plug my computer up. Hold on.
Okay.
Um, let's see. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I really growing up, I feel like I didn't have like role models like that, but
What about
um
now? Because he's talking about choosing a role model. Because in the beginning,
mhm.
choosing a role model, someone to look up and emulate, you need to pick someone who aligns with you. It doesn't have to be a famous person. It doesn't have to be a super deep person. It could be a coworker, a boss, a friend, a parent, a grandparent, really whoever. There are no rules. But there's another option when picking someone, and that's choosing someone you know about but don't know personally. One of the best parts about living in this day and age is that you can find people you think of as your guide or mentor who you don't even know in real life. When you read about them online, you can usually learn a lot and you can actually apply the lessons they teach about their life. I mean, about their life.
Mhm.
And mine's, like I said, right now, it would be Rachel Rogers. And I told you about her. She got 4 children. She started her law firm from her
Mhm.
from her kitchen table, wearing her kimono and, having her kids and doing her being business savvy. So
Mhm.
just somebody who just, I guess, doing something that you would like to do in that space, or whatever.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a good goal for me this month because right, it's like not something that I keep in mind as far
Yeah.
as, you know, there's definitely people who I feel like I learn from, and I feel like really I can learn something from anybody. That's kind of
Mm-hmm.
how I am. But at the same time, yeah, in terms of consistency and like you said, kind of following how someone does something as far as their process and just how they're living their life, and being excited to kind of have a life similar to that or whatever the case may be. I think it would be a good goal for me to do a little bit of that seeking out right now.
Right.
Um,
It don't gotta be. It could be like just little like different aspects. Shalane said, "I feel like Will Smith is someone that I want to connect with. I love his energy and his mindset. Drika Gates is definitely a role model for me. Drika is definitely a role model for me too because she's living on a farm and that's my life. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's fun to watch her vlog, but to see what she's going
Mm-hmm.
on. And two, she has a wellness lifestyle brand. Look,
Yes.
so it's like
Yes.
it's a similar. You know, I always say it's
Mm-hmm.
fun to watch somebody who's doing something that you do. It shows that it's possible. You know, and
Exactly.
it don't, and it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that my stuff is gonna be like hers or whatever. It's just just positive to see.
Yes, inspiration. And
Yeah,
so yeah, I'm gonna definitely take some time with that this month because right, it is possible and I think right having a vision of it will be helpful. Do you also follow Khalees?
I need to follow Khalees. Cause somebody told me, she really deep on her farm life. I need to let me
Yes,
check
and
it
she
out.
her wellness brand.
I,
Yeah,
no, I don't know. Somebody put me on. Let me go get.
yeah, it's called Bounty in Full, and she sells. It's called Skin Food and Brain Food, I think. Basically, it's
Oh, I
supplements
do
for.
follow her, I guess, but I guess
Hmm.
I don't see. Okay, I'm gonna have to check it out, and then let me follow her skincare.
Hmm. Yeah, so I follow her, but she's not necessarily doing anything I want to
Right.
do. I appreciate the wellness aspect of what she does and the and how she's working with African farmers. She's got land in Africa,
This
that
is
sort of thing.
wild. This is Rachel Rogers with Miss Tab. Miss Tab is another. I
Oh yeah.
would call her a spiritual mentor for me. I got her book, and I'm like taking all day to read. It's a library book, and I have not given it back.
Hmm.
I just for some reason I like to take a look. I need to get it so I can get the other one. But that's interesting that this popped up that because she's both of those would be a part of my mentorship. This Tab is like a spiritual mentor as far as like just all the stuff that she talk about, like her gifts and all things like that. And she she kind of makes me feel good talking about, even though I've been talking about stuff, I guess with y'all, but I guess what I'm learning about myself, y'all, is that I need to express more. I'm still in
Mm.
these expressions, and I need to express more, like share more stories. Like, look how you were able to openly come on here and talk about doing therapy. Which you able to like use not
Mm.
minimize it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Hmm. Hmm.
it's deep if that makes sense.
I know what you mean for sure. Hmm.
Because
Yeah, and that takes time. That's taking time
well,
too.
I mean, right, okay, similar how you feel about dropping the energy of the dead weight that didn't feel you. I feel the same way about the personal things that happened to me with family, my mama, all stuff like that. So it's like me saying that out besides behind closed door. It's different for me to say, but
Yes.
but that's real because that's how I feel. I feel blessed because people. I've been in hermit mode. I feel like in these time periods of healing, but now that I'm out, it's like shit. That's my truth, and it's like
Hmm.
I'm glad I did the work. When you do the work, you're not gonna feel no heaviness. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
like that shit feels good to not feel heavy.
Yes, and I think I had the thought, because I was thinking about how I wanted to tell my story and different aspects of it and
Yeah.
stuff. And yeah, but then the thought came to mind, and I'm like, I know other people probably feel like this too. It's like you want to tell your story, but you also want to protect certain people in your story too. So it's like that becomes hard because it's like, well, how do I share my truth? How do I share where I've come, based on this? But you don't want to like villainize certain people, or you don't want to bring,
And you
any
doing it back.
shame to them or whatever. But at the same time, the shit happened, okay? It's
Right,
truth.
right.
Like the shit happened.
That's real. It's that look definitely learning the balance within that. But it's good to check
Hmm.
it out because everything what we doing right now is therapy. Um,
Yeah.
on the last page on 126, it says the last paragraph. It says that happiness starts within, and then you can expand it to your family, then your block, then your neighborhood, then to your city, then to the state, the country, and the world, and it keeps expanding. It's like a chain reaction, and it all starts with your doing the work. Self work is so important because it's the first step to changing the world. You never know how one interaction can change the course of somebody's life to the extent that they could be a leader of the world one day. A minor change of perspective can have major ripple effects. That's why we need to be careful about whose influence we take in and how we influence other people.
Mm-hmm.
And then the reflection question: who would you like to take on as a role model? We already talked about that. How can you learn more about how they think? What do you think you might get out of the energetic bond with that person?
Mm-hmm.
Some more people that I follow is women who are thriving with multiple children, like people who are married
Mm-hmm.
with families, stuff like that. Because it's good to see. It's like you get to see, like it's you're a part of a community.
Mm-hmm.
So
For
yeah,
sure.
that was the end. Look, the next one says healthy friendships. So look, it's gonna get deep. So yeah, the next meeting. Look, we got a lot. We got
Yes.
a whole book.
We gonna go through the rest of it next time.
Yes. And say look,
Okay.
say any closing thoughts. I'm gonna promote. I didn't get a chance to promote this week, but when I hopefully I can save this. When I've been saving my lives, I'm telling you. So either it be like, even though it doesn't matter about people, but I'm just telling you, it's my lives is the people be on here.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully I can save it. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna promote it and we're gonna do it and just shit, rock it out and say whatever our final thoughts is.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, overall, these chapters. I feel like were just really good in terms of being able to reflect and have some tangible goals for myself as far as meditation, as far as role models, and just, sometimes I feel like when we think about, like, well, what is the work? It's like, well, what are some of those things? And I feel like these chapters specifically was helpful
Right.
to give you context for, like, the tangible things that are the work. So yeah, that's my closing thought.
Okay. My closing thought is it's just deep how, like I said, I'm in a reflection period. It's deep how the name of the book is Go Higher, when that's like a phrase that I was, you know, you can run the tapes back, a phrase that we were
Hmm.
saying, back in the day.
Hmm.
Going back to, it's not about perfection, it's about progression. Going back to every day it takes doing the work. Every day it's a commitment. I just really feel like I'm in a vortex of a swirl of all things working out to me. Period. Because
Yeah.
it's gonna work out. So every day showing up. That's my final thought. Every day showing up. Every
For
day.
sure. For
And
sure.
we
Shaliz, any final thoughts?
we get better. No. This is the thing. We're doing it. So
Hmm.
when you don't reflect, you don't even know what you're doing or not. That's
Right.
what I'm saying. Because you be like, damn. It's just like being fine, taking pics, thinking that you're not fine. You go back, damn, I was fine the whole time. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Awareness.
Yeah, like you said, journal, and then 2 weeks later, look at it again.
Yeah,
It's like we never go. Like, I have. It's rare that I go back and look at stuff that I wrote, and it's like you. That's one way to keep cultivating gratefulness. Like, at what you started with, the conversation about, being thankful, being grateful. It's like that's definitely one way to be, to keep that mindset, that grateful mindset.
yeah. Okay, Shalea says I share the same sentiment. Okay, and Shirley, you can be on the last live. It's on
Yeah.
people. The date it will be, because it's not going to be. So we have 2 weeks. So that's what I'm saying. So we got work to do. Um, so how about this, body? Let's you come up with a homework assignment, and I come up with a homework assignment. We both going to do it
Okay.
because we have 2 weeks. So that means we need to lock in and keep the energy going, and doing our journaling and stuff like that. But let's give it something specific, whether it's a question or something to ponder or something like that. But the last book club meeting is June 22nd, Sunday, because next week I'm celebrating my baby's birthday party, and then the other week is Father's Day. So the uh
Mm-hmm.
the 22nd is that day's
Yep.
Okay.
In 3 weeks.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, 3 weeks. Yep. Yep.
I'm in application mode, so I'm just at the stage where I'm applying knowledge. Exactly. My goal is to stay consistent along my journey. My journey. Exactly. You know,
Mhm.
and that's why for me, like I said, I gotta. I'm back to the post no scroll, so I can get my content out and focus on what on applying. Exactly.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's see. Body, 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 body. What's an assignment
Oh, so you talking about right now? We decided on assignments.
so that we can do? Come back in 3 weeks with it.
Okay.
Or I guess the assignment can be like you said, you get your role model. But what would mine be?
Right. Okay. So it's like I mean, you already said the post no scroll, so maybe there's a certain number of posts that you're gonna commit to doing.
Get me right, body.
So
Okay.
can you do right? Can you do 3 posts a week for the next 3 weeks at least?
Oh, that's starting from no post to three. Not even though lives are posts, but lives are just not lives don't count. No.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's easy then. I've been doing that. I feel like lives don't count because I've been doing it.
Oh, okay. So then, yeah, three. So then, so then one live at least, and then 2 other additional posts per week for the next 3 weeks.
Starting this week. Today's new day. Today's new
Starting
day.
this week. Yep, June 1st, Sunday. It's the first of the month.
Easy for your ass to be posting. I mean, you said keep getting. Let's go.
Right.
Look. As she
It's
said, I feel like 2 weeks of journey is a good assignment for myself. I need to stay consistent with that. Writing is my superpower. Yes.
that's her. That's she said that's her goal.
Yep. Three.
Yep, that's a good one. Yep. So I'm finding a role model, and I'm gonna take the 10 minutes. I
I'm,
think we all gonna do probably the 10 minutes.
I'm gonna,
Yeah.
another
Okay.
thing I said when I go live now because okay, so when I started going live, like during Plaza, that was like, oh, I'm gonna go live every day, and that was like a big thing for me, like showing up. This now is fucking easy. I don't give a fuck. I just go.
Mm-hmm.
So now I said, because really, my goal is, I'm a blogger, so getting back to writing a blog post. So, like I said, having YouTube just watch me doing what I'm saying I'm supposed to be doing.
Yes, yes. That makes sense.
Okay, one live and 2 posts. I can do it. I got this.
Okay. Right. And honestly, you can probably take like one day to just because that's 6 posts, right? So like just take one day to write out what posts you've been wanting to put out there or what content you already got, and then put a post together based on that content. And it can honestly be about, you could even pick out themes from the book or something like that, because we got how many chapters left? From 15 to is it 20 or 20? It's a lot. 27. Damn, we got 15 to 30.
I mean,
We
unless
got 15 chapters.
it's still too. I feel like we can still,
Yeah,
segment.
because we're taking 2 weeks off, so that's a good amount within the 3 weeks. So
Mm,
yeah, so I think your post can even just be about what you're reading, like
right.
thoughts that you're having about that. So it just make it easy for yourself. You don't have to come up with shit out of nowhere. Like you reading a book right now,
I told you I have shit in the chamber.
that too. Yeah. So yeah, we ready.
She said I'm also doing a 28-day no yelling challenge with my kids. I have to.
Oh wow, I like that. I really like that because I need that too.
Okay, Marty. And now that I finally got my format, feel free to invite somebody else to, especially since I don't know if he was on here, Shalea. She said the audio is free on Spotify.
What do you mean? Oh, to post these on Spotify?
No, you said his book is on Spotify.
Oh yes, the audio book.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was saying that we can invite. Feel free to invite. It can be up to 6 people in here. Again, my format changed. People thought I was on Instagram, whatever. It don't matter. But I'm just saying, feel free to invite anybody to the last book club meeting.
Got it. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. Because that'll kind of be a culmination of all of it too. So, and then with the audiobook, honestly, somebody could probably catch up literally in a week. So, okay, cool. All right, buddy.
All right, buddy. Enjoy your week.
You too, Shalea. See you, girl.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm gonna be mad. I hope it's safe. All right, bye.
Bye.
Okay, I hope this safe. Thank you for watching.